Hi, I'm Nancy Kaplan McCann, class of 1976 and an AZ. I am joined here today with several Marietta alumni AZs representing different decades to discuss the importance of the Day of Giving, which is being held next week, February 14th, beginning at 12 noon and concluding on February 15th at 6:35 p.m. Recognizing that a lot of alumni, not just AZs, made significant contributions to the Pioneer Support Fund to assist the AZs following the devastating house fire in November, and we thank everyone for their support. The Day of Giving, which recognizes Founders Day as well as Valentine's Day, is really all about participation, not the amount. And we will discuss why that is important and how it impacts the college. But before we get started, I would like to introduce Patty Bain Bachner, class of 1977, and a former member of the MCAA board and former chair of the development committee. Laura Stang Reagan, class of 1994, and a current member of the MCAA board and development committee. Hannah Thomas, class of 2009, and a former chapter advisor, and Lizzie Stern, class of 2023, and current president of the AZ Marietta chapter. I really want to thank all of you for being here today. So Hannah, I'm going to kick off the conversation with you. I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about the Pioneer Support Fund and the AZ Emergency Campaign and how the funds were used and distributed.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Hannah Thomas, class of 2009. And that feels weird to say. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about the Pioneer Support Fund. So back in the fall, when everyone was pouring out their love and giving donations, Bethany came to us and suggested donating to the Pioneer Support Fund, which is in place to help students who are faced with an emergency situation that disrupts their education in some way, shape, or form. The college helped us set up the Alpha Zeta Delta campaign, and you all helped donate tens of thousands of dollars to help the young ladies of our chapter. They could use these funds to help them replace anything like computers, bags, clothing, basically anything essential to help them with their college career. And we really just want to take this time to thank you all so much for your gracious support and your love, and just for helping to support our sisterhood.
Thanks so much, Hannah. And I'm going to turn it over now to Lizzie, who actually is a current student and was impacted by the fire. And just wanted you to share your experience and what the generous support of so many Marietta alumni meant to you and all your AZ sisters.
Sure. So I'm Lizzie Stern. I'm the current president of the Beta Xi chapter of Alpha Zeta Delta. And I love this chapter so much. I love the Marietta College community. My mom is a alumni of the same chapter. She graduated in 1993. So it just means so much to me. I want to talk about a little bit of my experience with the fire and kind of how your support meant so much and how it helped get us back on our feet. So during the night of the fire, all of the girls were kind of in separate places. There was only one sister in the house, fortunately, and she was right in the chapter room. So she was just able to walk right out. We all ended up meeting outside on the sidewalk to check in with our house manager and MB, our house mom, just to make sure we were all safe. The support from the school was immediate. Dr. Rude and Dr. Rude, both of them are Dr. Rudes. They of course just live right down the street, and they were present as soon as the fire started. So was our Greek advisor, Ellen Campbell. She was there all night. People from the Housing Corporation came, Dana and Dr. Danford, and then Belle Huffman. She's a nurse. She's our current chapter advisor, and she took so much time out of her life to answer any question and concern we might have. So the day after the fire, we were able to go one by one back into the house, escorted by firefighters. There was a lot of damage, obviously, to everything. The worst was in the back of the house, the triple, but I do believe it was called the back quad in the 90s. Yep. That room was pretty much, unfortunately, destroyed. My room, I lived in the front of the house on the second floor, on the front room of the Jack and Jill bathroom. And my roommate and I, personally, our things were not destroyed from the fire, but it was more so from debris and smoke. We had to throw out a lot of our clothes. All of my bedding had to go. I lost all of my bathroom things. So think like, you never know how many things you have until they're all gone. All your hair supplies that you have, makeup, shower, everything was gone. However, we were able to start buying things that very next day to kind of replace what we had lost, and we were reimbursed thanks to the generosity of all of our alumni. We had girls who had lost laptops and iPads, and with the donations from the fund, we were able to get those back right away. And we only collectively, I think, all missed 3 days of class, the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday after the fire. And then I'm very proud of our girls to say we actually ended the semester with a 3.5 GPA. Thanks to your generosity, I'm sure we would have not even been anywhere close to that if we had to miss more class, just to kind of get our things back together. And college is expensive, and being in a sorority is expensive, and having to buy all of those things back is certainly an unforeseen expense. So with the alumni fund, I don't even know where we would be right now, probably not in a very good space. So we just really appreciate it so much. And thank you also to anyone who sent boxes of things, whether it was clothes or supplies. We are just so grateful. I'm sure I'm missing a ton of people I could say thank you to, but thank you.
Thanks so much, Lizzie, for sharing that with us. Laura, as a current member of the MCAA board and the development committee, can you please talk a little bit about the importance of participation during the Day of Giving and how it impacts the college?
Sure thing. But beforehand, I also, on behalf of the alumni, we want to thank everybody as well for your generosity. When you're miles and miles away and you get the phone call, your text messages and stuff go on, it kind of breaks your heart a little bit. So we're very grateful that everybody was safe. And again, thank you to everybody that contributed to help everybody get back on their feet in that regard. And as far as participation goes, it's bigger than people think. It's not always about the dollars. From a competitive standpoint, we do tend to have the highest participation rate in the entire OAC. So we don't want to ever lose that #1 spot. It's good bragging rights. But also the participation rate goes a lot of other ways. It's actually a number that's used by numerous national publications in determining your ranking. When I was in school, we were the best in the Midwest from US News and World Report. And that number is a factor in how they come up with those rankings, 1 through 5 across the country, regionally and whatnot. So it's important in that regard. It's also important, and this is something I had never considered before and recently found out, that it actually is also beneficial to outside funding sources, because they view stronger alumni participation as a strength of the college, and in the sense of they're more willing to give you some money at times like that. So it's a funding mechanism outside even alumni giving ourselves and what we contribute there. And just, some basic math, the more people you contribute, the more money you tend to get too. So when you can pull that sort of money together as well, some people might think, well, I can only give $25, or I've got $50 I can put. A lot of young alums, $5, because I remember what it was like when I first graduated. But when you pull all those resources together from so many different alums, it really has a bankroll effect, because you're not just investing $5. You're now investing thousands of dollars that can continue to grow over time, that can be used back at the college. So what you donate today, there's a lot of resources that do go towards today's students, but some of it does, can impact the endowment for going forward. You could also just the overall financial strength of the college. If we ever need any lending and that sort of stuff, these are all factors they look into. How strong is your base? And we are that base that props the college up and helps keep it going. I think too, it just, with this campaign in particular, we tend to get competitive. We do have the Greek challenge that's out there, but I know sports teams are competing against each other to see how many people they can get to compete or to contribute to the school. So we do have some inner, competitive spirit in that as well. And I think it brings us together. We're on Facebook and we're texting each other, and there's a little trash talking that goes on. There's a Peloton challenge coming up and they're already chirping at each other. So I think it's just another way for us to come together as a college. So I think there's, multiple facets of just being able to participate. And like I said, $5, $50, it doesn't matter, because there's so many other aspects of giving that are impacted by that.
Yep. Thanks, Laura. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take a minute to share your thoughts regarding the differences you see it between the two campaigns, and as someone who contributed to the AZ Emergency Recovery Campaign, why you are also supporting the Day of Giving, because I think that's, an important conversation that we need to have.
Well, I think it's important to know that they are two very separate campaigns. The Pioneer Support Fund was started just a few years ago to provide, as Lizzie said, emergency support. And just hearing Lizzie talk about, what the chapter went through and seeing the house and just how devastating that is, I was moved to donate, to help out the girls. I mean, it just pulled your heartstrings, the memories of the house and being there, and then seeing the devastation was something that really compelled me to personally donate. The Day of Giving is something entirely different. The Day of Giving is, like Laura said, is very, very important to funders, especially for getting grants, because they do look at participation of the alumni. And like Laura said, we're the highest and we want to keep that. But Day of Giving provides very, very important things for the college, most of it unrestricted funds, and that can go to salaries, scholarships, all kinds of things that the college immediately needs and can access without the funds being restricted. So that's really important. We are going to have a tiered campaign, which will be restricted, and someone else will speak to that. But Day of Giving is our single largest fundraising effort. And we knocked it out of the park last year during a pandemic with a lot of you that are on this screen participating and helped us to get over that. And we won for the AZs. We might as well say that too. We won, came in first place, and we'd like to do that again. And just to reiterate what Laura said, it doesn't matter the amount. It doesn't matter if it's a single dollar, it's a donation. And that's what's going to be the competitive piece to this. It's going to be participation, not overall donations. And I think that if we can stress anything here today, we need to stress that. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to say why I give to Marietta, because it's in my blood, and this is what we have to do.
Yep.
So thank you.
Thanks, Patty. Thanks so much. And Patty mentioned the tiered campaign aspect, which is a new feature of the Day of Giving this year that I personally am really excited about, because it allows, as an alum, to designate your contribution to an area that's near and dear to your heart. They all represent special projects, in addition to the Marietta Fund, the Student Aid, and the Pioneer Club. But, it runs the gamut, and I can, go through them very quickly because I think it's important. We've got the Multicultural Center renovations. You've got the establishment of the new LGBTQ+ Student Emergency Fund, the Office of Community Engagement, the Career Center with internship funds, Stream Camp, Go WCMO for the communication technology that needs to be upgraded, and the planetarium. So again, you are able to designate your fund. You can also split it, so you don't have to just designate it in one area. And you can also give credit to your Greek affiliation and your class year as well. So actually, I want to end this by, again, thanking all of you that are participating today in this conversation. And again, I want to thank everyone for their support of the AZs and for your continued love for Marietta College. We hope this year's Day of Giving will be the best yet. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.